Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
We have a wonderful guest who seems to know a lot more about things than most people, and her name is Roberta Hladek, and she is the co-founder of Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness, which we call EMC Square. And Bill and I Bill was, and I am, I guess I would say a believer in AIM, which is where they find energetic imbalances in consciousness. And I was very, very interested, saying to Roberta, when they found out that Bill was pretty sick, she said she found some things on the computer. That's how they find these things. So can you share that with us?
Sure. What I mean by that is when you had contacted me, I guess it was when we did our last interview, we were talking and you had mentioned that Bill wasn't feeling well and that things had happened. So when we do what we call a special recheck, we check that particular person's photograph. And so when I was checking him, I did see that there were some things that he was balancing. And that's what we call, when we find something in you, there's a frequency that's out of balance. And so when I can determine what that is, it's all on the program and being sent to you, but sometimes the information to the participant is helpful to let them know that they're balancing a particular frequency number, and then they can look it up in our newsletter and say, or their facilitator can contact them and say, this is what you're balancing, and this is where it affects certain parts of the body and your energy. And it also gives you an idea of what the emotional component is with it. Because as we all know that there's an emotional component when we're not feeling well, there's an emotional side to it. If you're going to, say you're catching a cold or a flu, you might feel kind of down, overwhelmed, crabby, whatever your emotion might be. Mine is usually I'm overwhelmed by the simplest things. And I always know that's kind of my key, that maybe I'm not feeling so great and I should go check and see what's going on with me. Or sometimes it's just, you're just not feeling great that day and then it'll pass and the next day you feel great, whatever. But in Bill, I did find a few things that were going on with him and that he was balancing. And, we also checked the life force. And what the life force is what is your ability to overcome whatever it is that's going on, your fight, your internal fight. And his internal fight was way up there. Our optimum is 100. So when we're able to continue that fight, then sometimes we can overcome things.
And I really felt that he was overcoming it. Actually, it was just so many things had gotten in his way, because when he went in, he was healthy. He just had a operation for a lower bowel. It was twisted, they said, and but he came out, and they said it was a very good operation, no problem. But at 93, apparently, all the extra things that happen when you go in with the anesthesia and a lot of things, it was just getting harder, and one thing led to another, and it was just poor little thing. He was just absolutely having a lot of problems. So I never left his side. I mean, I loved him so much, and I was there to see everything. And then towards the very end, it was just so hard for him. And then he did die, but it's very hard.
Yes, it is. It's never easy to lose a loved one, whether it's a furry pet or whether it's your other half. It is our best friend. It's always very, very difficult for us. And what I kind of look into, like when Stephen passed away, who is my business partner, and he was my ex, I had lived with him for almost 12 years, talked to him every single day. When he passed away, I would get comments saying, but he's on AIM. How can this happen? Mm-hmm. And what I I tell people is that, yes, we're all on AIM, yes. And all these frequencies are coming to us, and we're living, hopefully, the best life we can for the time that we're here on this planet Earth in our physical body. But there is a master plan up there, and no matter what we do, this is my feelings, no matter what we do, that master plan has a time frame in it that we will all transition to. If you believe in another life, whatever you believe, that time is going to be up no matter what it is. Like with my mother, when my stepfather passed away, and he was like your Bill, an amazing man. And when he passed away, she was so distraught over it. And I said, Mom, no matter what he would have been doing, he could have been out on the golf course, whatever it was, but that day was up. And he lived a great life for the time that he was here, and he spread so much joy, and he did so many amazing things for other people, just like Bill. When I was reading Boomer Times here and the article about him, he was extraordinary. Yeah. My goodness, the things he accomplished in his life, geez, we could only all aspire to be able to do as much as he did. And it's very inspirational to me because I'm thinking, gosh, I got to get going here.
Oh, Roberta.
I got a lot to do to hold up to these men. My goodness, they've done so much. And so that kind of helped my mom because I said, she goes, but he was on AIM. And I'm like, yes, he was. But AIM is a tool to help us all hopefully live the best life we can and to the utmost. Because if we're living a long life but we aren't able to participate, what good is that?
That's right. And, we were on AIM. I think we were on for many, many years. Is it 10? It's a long time. And he did great things. And every time we see someone had problems, he'd say, look at us. He said, we're doing so well. Here he is, 93, and I'm 79. And, yes, we're having a joyful, wonderful life, and he's creating so much. So, we do have to attribute that a lot.
And you guys started in 2006.
Is that when? Oh, my gosh, so it's 11 years.
Yeah. So, and we, a lot of times with all of our participants, most of them anyway, when someone transitions, they like to leave them on the program, and so that's what we do too. So Bill is still on the program.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And wow. Stephen is still on the program. And
really? Well, explain that to me. What's the idea of that?
Well, I don't, some people believe in this stuff and some people don't, and we have so many different ideas and ways of dealing with things. Years ago, a woman contacted us, and she said she was a medium. And a medium is someone who talks to people. They talk about it being on the other side, someone who has passed away. And she was telling us that she had a daughter, I think it was, that had transitioned and was on AIM. And she said her daughter told her that it made things so much easier being on AIM, that she wanted her to continue and leave her on because it was making things easier. What that means, I don't know, but ever since then, I have always kept on friends, my stepfather, whoever, that were close to me. I've left them on the AIM program for a period of time.
Oh, my goodness.
And then until I just felt inside me, sometimes one day I would say, wow, I think I'm going to take them off, and then I will. But they've always, they've said that to us. So I just thought, well, let's do it.
Well, that's something new that I had not heard of. And so I thought this would be a good time. It has nothing really to do with Bill's death, but I would like to be able to talk about and I was talking with someone the other day about some of the people who you have helped who have autism or Down syndrome. I don't think people really understand that. Maybe could you share some of that?
Absolutely. We have some amazing children and adults that are on our program that have autism. I'll go there first. And they have done extraordinarily well. And autism is kind of an interesting deal here. I feel that our autistic people that are on the program are so bright, but they're stuck in this way that sometimes they can't express themselves either verbally or, they've got a block in there that's not allowing that to come out. And we have found that with the autism program that these people have been able to do more and be able to live a better life. They may not be totally out of it, but they have come out of it way better than if they weren't on the program. And this came about from our dear Wayne Dyer, who passed away a few years ago. And Wayne came to us and he said, can you do anything with autism? And Steve and I kind of looked at each other and we said, well, we haven't really dealt with it before. And so we said, is there someone you had in mind? So he gave us the photograph because, as you know from listening to our show here, we use a photograph to check and see what's going on with a participant. And we checked this little girl, and she was like 9, I believe, and she was in Australia, and Wayne had been over there working. And we said, absolutely. So we told Wayne we were going to make this a scholarship program, and if anyone he had that he found that had autism, we would put them on our scholarship program if we tested and found that frequency, because there's different things that can attribute to some of these symptoms that these participants have, and not always is it autism. So we found this little girl. We put her on the program. Well, Steve went over to Australia to speak, and a little girl held up her hand in the middle of his question and answer, and she said, can I tell you something? And Stephen said, sure. And she told him who she was, and she was 11 at the time. And she said, I used to be autistic, and you put me on your program 3 years ago, and I couldn't do, and she listed some of the things she couldn't do. And she said, I'm no longer having problems with those things. And he said that there wasn't a dry eye in the whole place when she got finished speaking. She was so articulate and explaining to all of them all of the trials and tribulations she had gone through, and she was coming out on the other side and how well she was doing. And now she was in some of the classes at school with the other children and not in some kind of a special class. And it was just amazing. So from that point on, we've started our autism program. And we have a man that's on our autism program who's in his 60s, and he's been in a home. And his job was a towel folder. And we got information from, we ask for reports quarterly, and the reason that we do that is we want to find out how they're doing and if there's something we're missing. So his care handler, she sent us reports over the years, and now he's living by himself within the compound. They have apartments, and he's able to cook for himself. And she said by that she meant using a microwave, and he's able to fend for himself more than he was able to before, and she saw him just going in leaps and bounds. Now, that's an older person, and normally we always see things moving faster in younger people because they're young, and I kind of see it as the energy in their body doesn't have to go around so far. It's, they're small and what have you, but just doing fabulous. And
wow.
Yeah, and he's just been amazing, and he was on TV, and she sent us a video of him a few years ago. They had him speaking on TV, and he's just doing fabulous. So those kind of things kind of make the work all worthwhile. We have our ups and downs, of course, with anything else, but when you look at what we're doing and how we're affecting someone else's life with this, it's just extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it must make you feel good now. And so tell me this. So how do you get over the loss of Stephen? How long has it been now?
Stephen passed away on April 8th. So we're coming up on our 1 year. And I had one I guess she would be like a psychologist. She sent me a note, and she said it takes 2 years for the average.
Really?
Yeah, that's what she told me. So it's hard. There are days that things are easy, and then there are those days that they aren't so easy.
Yeah, I know. Well, especially, when you work with someone like you did. See, that's the difference. So a lot of people, they didn't work, so it was just at home, and then they're lost. But you and I work, and everything is so interlocked and interchanged and all. But, well,
you just have to take it day by day.
Yeah, that's it. The evenings are the tough time when you get finished with work.
Yeah.
So I've been sitting watching a lot of TV, which I don't usually do, a lot of movies.
Well, sometimes, whatever, this person, she told me, she says, whatever works, if that helps you, makes you feel good, then that's what you need to do within reason. She said, don't go drinking a bottle of vodka every night when you go home. But but it is, sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes, I'll get stuck on something when I'm testing. And I'll go, God, I wish he was here. I could ask him this question.
Right.
But, it's kind of funny. There's, I was in a meeting, and this is kind of, probably a lot of people are going to go, oh, my God. But it's kind of funny how certain things come up or happen or something like that. And I always think that he's still around. But I was in a meeting, and we were having a conversation. There were 2 men in the meeting, and I could hear him as clear as day in my ears telling me what he thought of this meeting. And sometimes Stephen could be quite colorful with his language.
Right.
And I was sitting there trying. It was a very serious meeting, and I was trying so hard not to laugh. And I was like, gosh, stop talking to me.
Oh, that's funny.
And it was kind of cute because he realized, I guess whatever was going on, I don't know how to explain it or anything, but I was sitting there thinking afterwards, I'm going, yeah, that meeting was getting pretty difficult, and I wasn't quite sure where I was going in this meeting, and he was trying to make me relax and tell me something to make me laugh. So it was kind of funny.
Yeah, well, I just, I'm also curious about, is there anyone there that has been promoting the book? We stopped promoting that a long time ago when I first met Stephen. But do people buy it? How do you promote your book?
Oh, they still buy it. We have it on our website, aimprogram.com. We have it on there, and we still have it online. And our facilitators who promote the AIM program all over the world, they are still promoting the book as well.
Because that really has a great impact on people. People really understand why it's so good, even though I know it was, it's been, as you said, 11 years or so. It's quite a while. But I just went to Colleen the other day, as a matter of fact, and she helped me. She's one of the facilitators, and she did a teardrop or raindrop massage, which was just amazing. She was sweet to help me. She's a great facilitator here in Boca Raton for you.
Oh, great.
Do you know Colleen at all?
I know her. I do. I do. I don't get to see all my facilitators face-to-face because they are all over, but I do remember her.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm in contact with them. We have our twice a month we speak on the phone. I have a conference call with my facilitators, and then we email all the time. Mm-hmm. So I'm in constant contact with them usually, not always individually, but as a group, yeah.
But she's a great one. She is. She's just delicious. She's kind. She's smart, and she is great. And so she has helped me, and she wants me to come back again, and I'll do that. And I am very fortunate because I don't know, do you have a lot of family? Because my family's been right here supporting me a lot.
Yes, I do have a lot of family, and they all knew Stephen very, very well. Mm-hmm. And I have my extended family, which is my staff here. And then I also have participants that knew Steve and I when we were in private practice back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So I received so many wonderful phone calls from them, and they constantly keep in touch with me. They'll send me little notes and, on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like you. I've got a pretty good support system.
Right. So it's interesting to talk to you about this. It's funny how I have, and you probably have helped so many people before it really happened to us.
Yeah. I know. We never thought it would happen, huh?
Yeah, isn't that silly? I know. Of course, Stephen was young compared to Bill, but it's still, I just never looked at that. I just wasn't in our daily calendar, and maybe that's why we live such a good life.
Absolutely, because it isn't something that you want to think about, really.
No,
and so I didn't know he was in the Air Force.
Oh yeah, he wrote a book called, actually, Air Force Cowboy. I should probably send that to you. It's a fabulous book.
That's awesome.
It's not a biography. I mean, he happened to know enough of the stuff, but no, it was. But it was a story, a novel. But he used a lot of what he did know, and it's got sex in it. It's got a lot of power in it. People just love it. So I'll try to get one to you. And then also, the thing that's really great for me is that he's written a lot of things. And this one book he wrote, Saving the Moon, which is not. It's just in manuscript form because we went over it. Something like 4 or 5 months ago, I said to him, "You really need to get that out now." Because I could see that he wanted to do some more things. He has always had things on his plate. And so we sat up many nights. We didn't watch TV. We went through the entire manuscript, put commas in, quotations, took some words out, and it's his done. It's not something I have to do anything other than get it now on the computer with the corrections, and then I'm going to publish it. And
Great.
It's a sci-fi. It's called Saving the Moon. It's a sci-fi, and one of our friends was Ed Mitchell, the astronaut. And he worked with him because there are a lot of things on space that Bill did not know. Because when I was reading it with him, I said, "How did you know this? How did you know that? Where'd you get that?" Well, I sat with Ed. He talked to me, told me a lot of things. Really? So it's fascinating. It's really
cool.
Very unusual. So you'll be hearing about that book once I get that finished. So see, I have so much that I can keep doing. And then they're working on because he was one of the major developers of Columbia, Maryland, Bill, they're going to have their 50th anniversary in June, and they're putting up a sculpture monument for him. So that'll be, so it's like I've got all these nice things to keep making his being known. That's all. Just to let it be known. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got little Charlie.
Oh, yeah, and Charlie's sitting here, as a matter of fact. I don't usually bring him to the studio, but it's a long day when I do the radio, and Bill was always home, and he would take him out.
Oh,
so now, and he's so well behaved, I guess I can start doing this.
Aw, that's so great. Well, I have my cat right here.
So you have a cat.
I have Hazel.
And
she's
Hazel
our
loves
office
you.
cat.
Okay.
And she's sitting here in the chair, just relaxing.
You don't take her home?
No, she stays in the office.
Oh, she does.
Mm-hmm. She's our office kitty.
I see. Well, it's pets are great, and I don't know if Charlie misses him. I can't be sure because he wasn't as much Bill's dog as the others we've had. For some reason, he was a rescue, and I'm not sure. Maybe he was. Bill did take him out, but not that often. And the other thing, he probably didn't. Bill didn't like the name Charlie because he had a stepfather who was not a nice man. His name was Charlie. So when we rescued him, Bill said, "Let's change his name." I said, "I can't change his name. He's 8 years old. You can't." Well, I don't like that name. So he's still Charlie. So maybe Bill secretly didn't like his name. Didn't like it. I don't know.
Maybe he picked up on that Bill didn't like his name.
You never know, do you? Well,
you never know. And
something.
Sometimes they just, like my cat at home, Toby, he just waits for me. When I come home, he can hear my car.
Oh, really?
And he comes tearing down the hallway, and he stands at the door waiting for me to come in. And but I feed him, too. So,
of course.
Maybe that's it, too.
Of course it is, because Bill did not feed Charlie. I fed Charlie. So,
there you go.
That's always, whoever feeds, that's right, gets the love, is that right? Of course, I fed Bill. That's why I got the love, right?
There you go.
Yeah, it's all one big thing. Well,
cute.
Roberta, you're really a great testament to what you do, and I know that you love it. And Do you work a lot? Do you get up early in the morning, you start working, and work till the sun goes down?
Yes, I'm in the office usually by 8, and I'm usually here until 5. And then on the weekends, I have a system at home, so I check every single day usually, just to see and kind of put my time in to make sure that I'm not missing something that we all could use, and trying to find new frequencies to help us all to overcome whatever it is that we're dealing with. So, and I love doing it. I really do. And I've been around it. I knew Stephen from 1987, so I've been around it all that time and working with him. So it's just a part of me, I think.
Yeah, right. And I don't know, do you have children?
No, I don't.
Oh, so
I have lots of nieces and nephews and great nieces.
Right, but you have lots of friends. I can see that.
Yes, I do.
Well, anyway, so if you get a lot of the people who are now on the program, do you get a lot of new people all the time? How do they hear about you?
Well, they hear about us from these radio programs that we put in our newsletter. We have a website. We have our facilitators that do a lot of word-of-mouth type advertising. So mainly those things. Plus, we're still in a lot of books that people have published, like the infamous Kevin Trudeau.
Oh, my.
We're in his book, and
really?
We knew Kevin way, way back, and we're in Wayne Dyer's book, A Spiritual Solution for Every Problem.
Well, listen, we've run out of time, but I love having you on, Roberta. Thank you so much, and we'll keep talking about all these good things, and hoping people will, get on the AIM program. And the way to do this is go to aimprogram.com, read all about it, and I certainly thank you for everything. Keep him on for just a little bit. Let's see, I don't know where he is. He's on some great adventure somewhere.
We sure will, and you hang in there, and it was great speaking with you today. If you ever need anything, you know where I am.
I know, Roberta. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.